What's up, Roanoke? What's up, neighbor? Hey, we found the horse from that 2021 video out in Lynchburg. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Well, what had happened was,
Was he really drunk running through the streets of Lynchburg? Or I mean, it kind of looked like he was trying to tell him to go around.
he was trying to tell him to go around, but I don't think he thought it was for him.
Gotcha.
So he just made me run. I was tired.
I bet. But I'm glad you got out of the way of the cop car, man.
That's right. So can everybody hear us? Or every one person hear us?
Hey, Mary.
Give us a hooves up.
She might be packing for tomorrow.
She thought she was on the wrong show. She's gone now. We don't even have any visitors. So we're going to talk about the horse in Lynchburg here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But how was your week?
Not too bad. A little hectic here and there. Kids, I found out on Tuesday that they had a half day on Wednesday. Now, in the schools defense, there's a good chance it's on the school calendar.
Oh, it 100% probably was.
That I almost never look at. Yeah. I just assume there's going to be something come home.
They planned this half day like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean I'm usually like second or third tops in the car pickup line. Mm-hmm. So the teachers will usually come out and go,
yeah.
Hey, don't forget.
You got competition now in the school line.
I do. I don't know who the guy is in the maroon Dodge minivan, but man, you got to get up early in the morning to beat that man to pick the kids up.
So JR picks his kids up every day at school, and usually school gets out, 2:20?
Yeah, 2:20, 2:25.
Okay, so 2:20ish, school gets out. JR's usually in the school pickup line by 1:30, most of the time. If not, are you earlier sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
1:25, 1:30.
So since his kids have been going to elementary school, he has been number one in the car rider line, right?
Yep. Until
99% of the time.
Mid last year.
Yep. And so last year, some old man's beating you now.
Yep.
So I think you should just work from the car. And if you just want to drop them off, come back around and be like, just here, pick them up after school.
Well, I learned last week. I don't know if we covered this, so I'll just cover it today as if it happened since we last talked. I went and did lunch with the kids last week, one per day, and so I forget which day it was, but I parked out there at the front of car line. I'm like, I got his ass today.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you realized that there wasn't school that day.
Oh yeah. But no, apparently that day they were having a fire inspection. So the fire inspector guy came around and he was going to tow me, if I didn't move the car. So luckily, Mom's got one leg, so I got a GIMP parking.
Oh, nice.
Decal. So I just went to the front of the school, slapped that on. How you like me now?
I thought you were going to say you used your mom's leg to hit him with.
No, but yeah, I thought that was hilarious because I mean I'm not the smartest guy in any room I'm in. That being said, I know enough about gas and fire,
right,
and what in that building will catch fire. If you're parking your truck where I was, you don't get to work at the fire department.
And I think it's just to haul people out. But I parked at waiting to pick up Emmy one time up at Oak Grove. She works at McDonald's, and I went to pick her up one day, and she usually comes out within a minute or two, and it was before she got her car, and so I pulled up there in front at Oak Grove, and it's a fire lane, but I'm just picking up somebody, and fire marshal was coming out, and he's like, move out of the way, or I'm going to have you towed, and I was like, I'm just picking up somebody, and he just got nasty. He was knocking on my window, and I was like, okay, yeah. I didn't move, but
because I am that guy. I may or may not have made the comment of, I've worked at places that we understood this rule. That's why if you had spent 2 seconds, looked in the car, keys are in the ignition.
Right.
in case you need to move this thing.
Right.
You know, that was always the rule. If you had to drive in to drop off tools or pick up tools or whatever, you know, you got to leave your keys in the car,
Right.
on company property.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that down in some parts of any area, really. You're going to lose your car.
Right.
Come out and be like, oh, they must have needed a move fit. Now it's in Idaho somewhere being sold on auction.
But other than that, just kind of getting ready for leaving out in the morning, head to Doswell, King's Dominion.
Okay.
They're going to start off that at they're starting off their Halloween season.
Nice.
On tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're going to head out in the morning, get to the campground about 3-ish, and start getting the.
Y'all stay in the RV, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start scaring the poop out of the kids about 6:30.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Disney started theirs back beginning or the middle of August.
Okay.
We went to their little Halloween thing.
Oh,
It's not so scary. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think for $25 you can buy a little tag, and they won't come up and scare you.
Oh.
At King's Dominion.
It's like if you don't want to be scared, it's going to cost you.
Right. Well, and I don't support charging somebody $25, but I support. we told you this was Halloween. If you don't want to be scared,
don't come. I mean,
7-Eleven's
that's for
across the
me.
street.
Yeah, that's for me. Don't come if you don't want to be afraid.
But how about you? How was your week?
Busy.
Sounds like Big Daddy Munchies is on the roll.
Big Daddy Munchies has been really rolling. I think we sold probably 150 bags already.
Nice.
I mean, there are one or two other people that sell it here in Roanoke.
Right.
But
that is good.
And I've gone out and checked out, and we have more product.
Right.
And that's just because I don't do anything small.
Right.
We have 6 kids.
If we're getting
So it's gone wonderful.
Just since doing this podcast, sitting this close to him, I've had 2 miscarriages.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so we sold a lot. We're doing the farmers market this weekend over here at Southwest, the Southwest County Farmers Market.
Nice.
Off of 419, and I don't know that I'm ready. I don't know that I have enough product.
But you're the guy. You never think you're never gonna be ready until you take it out there.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think I'm going to be late somewhere, and I'll call and say, hey, I'm running late, and then I'm always early.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think I'm ready.
Up to the doctor a day early.
Yeah, I've done that. I've shown up over at RVAR for the technology committee a day early.
Right.
At least I was there.
Right.
But I don't know that I'm ready because we're selling so much that we haven't been able to stock up.
Right.
And that's my worry, that we'll run out of some stuff. So if you're coming out to see us and to buy candy,
right,
come early, because it's from 9 to 2. I don't know that we'll make it to 2.
Right.
I've stocked up and it's running, and I'm even getting up in the middle of the night and changing it out. And don't worry, I'm putting on clothes and washing hands and all the sanitary stuff.
And if you've spent 10 minutes talking to him, he doesn't sleep. He's not really waking up. He's just in the middle of 3 thoughts, and his alarm went off.
And I'm like, oh, I got to go change candy now. Yeah, absolutely. But it's been a busy week. I tried to mow my grass because I'm sure my neighbors are hating me because of the rain and stuff, and lawnmower wouldn't start, so I got to change out the spark plug. And other than that, I mean, we had a good week. Tegan had a good week at farm school.
There you go.
She the meat chickens came in for this semester.
Nice.
So, I don't think they pick out one. They just kind of, once the chickens are ready, she'll go pick out whatever one she wants to process.
Right.
So she's excited. She's going to have 2 sets of chicken legs that have been preserved.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been preserved so that she can hang them from her first car rearview mirror.
Nice.
So, yeah, we don't have to worry about boyfriends and stuff.
Right.
So, but Roanoke, it's been quite a busy news week, and not a lot of, I mean, there's good and bad in it. So
always.
The biggest thing, and the mayor, I think, spoke about this today, that he was saddened and trying to do things about it. Roanoke hit its 26th homicide a couple days ago.
I was going to say that, yeah, and I think when we printed that out, it was like 2 days ago. I think we're up to 27 now.
Yeah. I think the other night there was some kind of shootout over in Northwest, and 2 of them were killed. One was in critical condition that may or may not make it. Right. And so I'm hoping, the mayor spoke about, and I haven't seen anything in the news about it.
Right.
He's talking about the victory in Roanoke or something like that.
I think we may have mentioned that it might be a little early for that.
Yeah, but he hadn't. I mean, we haven't had anything else come out on it. Hopefully they'll rein some stuff in before it gets too bad.
Right.
Yeah,
because we're not ready for, or let me say, most of the people I've met around here are not ready for Newport News or Richmond kind of crime to make it here.
No.
So let's nip this in the bud.
I think so too, and I hope that the new police chief has a plan.
Right.
And he has to. But hopefully he'll have a plan and start implementing it as soon as he comes into office, if he's not already there.
Yeah. And, I have full love, full remorse for all these families. We just, maybe, not that we have a large following or anything, but maybe we put out an ad or two, and, here in a couple of weeks, we just kind of have our own little get-together. Let's meet at, the park over there at Apperson, or, let's all meet up there, and let's just get together and come up with ideas that we can take to city council or the new police chief. Because sitting here whining about it is not going to make it better.
Complaining and whining doesn't do anything. You've got to take action, and that's, unfortunately, 95% of people don't take that action that's needed. Even in the government things, it's more excuses than anything. Right. Well, we can't do this because of that, and this because of this, and I think, and not that I want more government reach or more government power, but they need to step in and take care of this,
Well,
because they're criminals, period.
Yeah. Well, my thing is what my daddy always told me. Need to step up or step aside.
Mm-hmm. If you can't do the job,
either step up and handle it, or step aside and let the community handle it. Right. Because right now, I bet a lot of people would love to do something. Well, what trouble are you going to get in for trying to fix this by yourself? Right. So. And
who's coming, I think a lot of people, and I talked to somebody today, I had a really busy day, but met with one of the property owners of one of the properties I manage, and she talked about it, and it's, it's not only that the people that are around don't want to tell who did it because they're afraid.
Right.
Snitches get stitches, and a lot of times they die.
If you don't lock them up, or if they get out real quick, I still got to live here.
They're coming for you, yeah. And that's the same way with the community. One person, even though they can make a difference, one person, most people are afraid to be that one person.
Right.
But if you have a community that steps together and says, hey, not in our community, we're not having this.
Right.
Then that's a whole different ballgame.
Exactly.
And that's what I think we need.
You got a bunch of us to take out.
Yeah. And they're not. And I think the communities need to step up, and those leaders, we've talked about it. Yep. Those leaders of the churches and the leaders of the community centers and the leaders of those are the leaders that need to step up and be like, hey.
Leaders of the Boy Scouts or the Boys Club.
Right.
I
think the principals in the schools and things, and not that they're not doing anything. I'm not saying that by any means, but those are the leaders in the community that need to be stepping up and saying, hey, we're not going to allow this here.
Right.
This is done.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it doesn't stop and just move somewhere else, but out of this area.
And we've named everybody but parents. You can't handle that. You can't allow that at your house either.
Yeah.
I don't care that you're working 12, 14 hours.
Yeah. So I think, there definitely needs to be some community outreach. There needs to be definitely, people need to step up, I think. and stop this crap. I mean, the 26, 27 homicides is the most since the 1970s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's crazy.
And I had no idea this place was that rough in the 70s.
No, I lived here in the 70s, right. But I didn't know it was rough. I was a kid. It was rough on me, so right. I wasn't thinking about a community.
And we had mentioned Lynchburg earlier. It sounds like Lynchburg Gynecology. Well, I think they were originally accused, but it turns out to be a third party. But they are splitting with that third party after some misconduct allegations, and I can only imagine what kind of misconduct it is at a gynecology office.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't even imagine. And there's a missing Franklin County mom and 3 kids. For what, 2 weeks now? 2-3 weeks now. I read a little article on it today, and it says she's been missing, since then, but she missed a court date. And
in Illinois.
Well, no, she missed a court date in Franklin County.
Oh, okay.
Franklin or Henry, right in there. But she missed a court date, and so nobody had talked to her. And she had told somebody that she was visiting relatives in New York, but she was last seen in Illinois.
Okay.
So who knows where she's at, and it didn't talk about what, I think it was court date for juvenile domestic.
Right.
So they can't talk about what that was for.
Right.
But it may be just, and I hope, not that I hope that it's a mom on the run,
right,
but I hope the kids and the mom are safe.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening.
Exactly.
She's on the run and nothing happened.
Exactly.
So hopefully, prayers for those kids and prayers for mom that she's okay and that's, what she's doing.
Right. And speaking of a couple of days ago, VDOT had a meeting on Tuesday. I think it started at 5 or 5:30 at Lord Botetourt High School, talking about widening I-81 and between 143 and 150 or 152, I forget.
So that's the Salem exit all the way to Botetourt. To that.
Well, yeah, I think 143 is the one to 581.
Okay.
But I think they're they're opening it up to 3 lanes each way.
Okay.
To just past the scales, or right at the scales, I would say.
Yeah, 152 is that Botetourt A and B.
Right.
Narrow line. And honestly, I don't know if that's going to help.
It's
not a congestion problem in that area.
And I think they were talking about getting rid of one of the off ramps, or one of the on ramps, and I just remember what I read. I wished I had been able to make that meeting,
right,
because it did make a whole lot of sense to me.
Right.
Now I'm also not a civil engineer, so.
Right.
But I don't know that 3 lanes in between there is going to speed anything up or slow anything down.
Yeah, it's not a congestion problem. It's an accident problem, and it's because people roll through there. I mean, I'm going 75 in parts. Once you pass that Botetourt headed north, 152 headed north, the speed limit goes to 70. Yeah. And I'll go 75, almost 80, right, and there are people flying past me.
Right.
And the same way down where it's 60, I'm going 65, sometimes 70,
right,
and people are passing me like I'm standing still. Tractor trailers too.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm usually the guy, if the speed limit is 70, I'm between 80, 85.
Oh no, not me. I've had too many tickets. I'm good.
79, 80, and if I'm being what's the word I'm looking for? Cautious.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the time I hit the cruise control, so I don't get in trouble.
Yes, I understand.
But I mean, if the speed limit is 70, there are people that are either doing 50, 55, mm-hmm, or excess of 90.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of us in between.
Right.
And that's what's causing a whole lot of your accidents and your backups. I don't know that an extra lane of that is going to...
No, I personally think it's going to be worse, and we're probably going to have more fatalities.
Yeah.
Because now all of a sudden you've got 3 lanes instead of the 2, and we were having quite a few.
Legitimate fast lane.
Yeah, and so I think that just widening, that's not solving the problem. there needs to be, maybe they put speed bumps. No, I'm just kidding. And there's just people aren't paying attention anymore.
Right.
Everybody's on their phones and things like that, and
Right.
I'm guilty of that too. But
I'm as guilty of it as anybody.
And I think, I've been cut off so many times, people not paying attention. They swerve over and right in front of me, and I have to slow down or they hit me.
Right.
And I don't think an extra lane or an extra 10 lanes is going to solve that problem.
Right.
I think either be a police presence or maybe they just start, put out. I'm against it, but I'm for it. I don't even know where that line is,
Right.
but you put up one of those speed limit cameras, and as you come through there going over a certain amount, you get a ticket in the mail.
Right.
You get enough of those, you'll stop speeding through there, or the word will get out, kind of like Boone's Mill.
Right.
Or do you speed through Boone's Mill?
Yep.
Never.
As soon as we hit that Franklin County sign,
Yeah,
45 it is.
because you're going to get a ticket if you're speeding, and the word's gotten out with that. And when I learned to drive as a teenager, that was one of the driver's ed warning: if you're going through Boone's Mill, don't speed because you're going to get a ticket.
They're going to pop you for 3 over.
And so I think if people know, hey, I'm going to get a ticket if I drive here,
Right.
they may slow down a little bit.
Right. Oh, and I tell you, I mean, I don't know where they used to hang out that got everybody, but they almost got me not too terribly long ago. Because, I mean, I've driven this road for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
We live where we live. Our best friends live over in Wirtz. Our daughter lives over in Hardy on Jubal Early. Yep, when you come through scenic Boone's Mill, that one light, the historic downtown Boone's Mill, and you start heading up that hill, you know that at the top of the hill it goes to 55. So oftentimes I'm going up the hill and I start accelerating like in 55. Yep, cop sat right there in the median. I mean, just before the 55 limit, and
And he catches those people coming the other way because it says 45 coming the other way.
Speed limit 55, so I'm doing 60, 65. Sure enough, I'm almost to 60, and that's when I see him. I go, had to lift. It's like, uh-oh.
Start whistling to yourself, looking up. I found myself guilty of that. Please get by. I'm not doing anything. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Luckily, he was looking at his phone. So,
but and so the word gets out that you can't speed through there. Same way Waverly,
right,
headed 460 towards the beach.
Oh yeah.
You don't speed through Waverly.
Not through Waverly, and if you've lived in Virginia for more than a week, don't speed through Emporia.
Yep, they'll get you there too.
Yeah.
My birth mother actually was speeding through Emporia.
Yeah.
She didn't have a license. Had to go to Petersburg jail. Right. So yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, I was like, hey, where are you doing? Oh, I was in the Petersburg jail. And I grew up as a foster kid, so it didn't affect me.
But I know in the 80s you
you
could get a ticket in Emporia, and I think that was the only place in Virginia that they would accept the money on the side of the road. You didn't have to come back to court.
If you pay in cash, you just go. Right. Won't even count it towards your driver's record. Right. That's crazy. Speaking of the police and everything, good news, no citations for Roanoke City's curfew during the summer.
Awesome.
So, and I don't know if that's because they weren't really looking or if people really paid attention.
Right.
I'm hoping that it's the latter.
I think I hope it's a little bit of both,
Yeah. So hopefully, that did that. Records beat this week.
The Beaver Dam Sunflower Festival breaks the record for visitors. I think they had like $6,000, which is up 1,200 people.
Yep, 6,400 people this year, which is unbelievable. I think it's still going on. Right. I don't know why nobody's questioned them about the Beaver Dam because the ones that made of concrete aren't made by beavers. Right. So
it is what it is.
And we started this with the horse head for those who are joining us. If you are,
my favorite story.
That's right.
Of probably the year.
So we started a little bit late today because I've been trying to find the video to show you.
The video.
So I couldn't find the video because all of the news videos and things like that didn't show the man getting run over.
Right.
It showed it right up to there. Some of them even blurred it, put in their own sound bite that was like, oh, and then showed it afterwards. So evidently, dude was being served a warrant for
violation of a protection order.
Yeah, violation of protective order. It was not an arrestable offense. They just needed him to go to court. And so, but dude evidently was drunk and riding his horse. According to police, he was drunk.
Right.
And riding his horse through Lynchburg downtown. And there's a video. If you watch the video, dude rode that horse.
He did.
Through downtown, through some side roads. So
he
was
telling him go around.
Yeah. So I don't know if he didn't think the police were following him or what was going on. I'll go turn left here. Oh, they're still behind me. And so it shows him on his horse. He's like, come on around. So
he was more shocked than I was that he got tased.
So then they tase him. He falls off the horse. One of the officers jumps out of his car to, I guess, go put cuffs on him or subdue him or whatever. Well, he leaves his car and drive. And the car just runs over dude.
Oh, yeah.
And so now the guy on the horse is suing Lynchburg police for $5.3 million because of their negligence.
Right.
I agree with that, though.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that if I'm running from the police, I expect them to whip my butt when they catch me.
Exactly.
I don't expect them to run over me with their car if they catch me.
Right.
So, you know.
Right. And, you know, tasing him might be a little excessive, but how do you deal with a drunk on a horse?
Well, you go to his house.
Right.
It's not an arrestable offense, so why are we chasing? Just let dude go.
Right.
He's going to come home eventually. You
Right.
just hang out there and wait for him to get there and be like, hey, buddy, we just wanted to give you this. Now we're going to give you another ticket for whatever. But
Right.
instead of chasing him, and I mean,
because it's not like he was going to kill anybody.
yeah, and he wasn't going far on a horse. You know, he's not going across state lines on a horse.
Right.
So I do think that
Not
was
tonight.
a little excessive, and I think that officer, it was a mistake.
Right.
But there's consequences to mistakes,
Right.
and I think that,
well, there has to be consequences for you to learn.
yeah, absolutely, and I bet he won't run from cops anymore on his horse.
Yeah, I bet.
And,
I bet
and
that-
honestly, after he
bet
got
that
run
cop
over,
I'll puts it in park twice
Yeah.
before he ever gets
and
out of it.
honestly, he got run over. We don't even know that he can get back up on a horse.
Right. Right.
So, but yeah, it was. So Google it. Lynchburg man gets run over by a car, or Lynchburg man on a horse gets run over by a cop car,
Right.
and it'll pop up, and you'll be able to see everything. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, they had a boating accident at Smith Mountain Lake 2 weekends ago, and they finally identified the guy who passed away as Michael Barber.
Okay.
So
And I think that, and it's sad, and prayers for his family, and thoughts. But I think there haven't been that too many accidents lately at the lake. There for a while we were hearing boat accidents and things like that, and it was in the news. And maybe the news is just, I don't watch a lot of it anymore.
Right.
Most of the stuff I Google and say, okay, what's the news in Roanoke?
Right.
And that's where I get a lot of my news, and I read the articles and stuff. But there hasn't been a lot of news about deaths and boating accidents and stuff at Smith Mountain Lake. So I think, even this is super sad, and anybody that's lost, but I think that they're doing something right, or just not reporting. But that's, it's good that those are down.
Oh, without a doubt.
And if you're looking to rent a boat out the lake, we got a person for that. Yeah.
Nice.
We got a person. Roanoke College. This is pretty exciting.
The Maroons are ready.
Yeah, the Maroons have been okayed to have their own football team, and I think they're ready for the next football season.
I think they're getting ready to interview for head coaches.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully they'll be ready by next season. That's exciting because they do well in all the sports they participate in, and I think they're still in the ODAC. I'm not sure.
Right. We'll find out when the first kickoff is.
Yeah, but that's exciting, and I'd love to go see them play.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I wonder where they're going to play. That's the question. I mean, are they going to play in their stadiums because they have the lacrosse stadium? It also doubles as their soccer field, I believe.
Yes.
I wonder if they're going to put lines on there for it to be football also.
Probably.
That'll be interesting to see.
Probably. It's just if if you played soccer on a football field, it's a real pain in the butt where they put they'll take the goalpost out. But it's still a pain in the ass to dodge that hole.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they may end up playing over at Salem Stadium.
Yeah.
Because I know that right across the street from the stadium is the old Lutheran home, but it's now Roanoke College.
Okay.
And so they may end up just playing at Salem Stadium, too, because nobody, well, they do have other football games there, but it's mostly Little League and stuff like that, and I'm sure that the college part would be able to weave in there. So it'll be interesting to see, but that's exciting.
And if the college can put a little money into the field,
I'm sure
their facilities, make it even better for the Little League, for the Pee-wees.
So you're going to be at King's Dominion this weekend.
I am, so I'm going to miss the Touch a Truck event.
Touch a Truck's exciting. It's fun.
I've not been before.
Okay. They have they'll have like a tractor trailer up there. They have different police cars and tow trucks, and it's Touch a Truck.
Okay.
And so you'll have all kinds of different just vehicles, and I know that the police they'll bring like their SWAT truck, and the kids get to go in there, and the fire trucks and ambulance, and they get to go in all the vehicles and stuff like that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think a couple years ago, or I guess it was pre-COVID. Tegan's 12. I think she would laugh if I'm like, hey, let's go to Touch a Truck. She's like, what? I just play video games. I'm good. But they actually got to sit in the front of the cop car and do the lights. And
oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Alex, when he was younger, Mom and Pop were big into volunteering with the local police department. Oh, yeah. He's run the lights, the sirens. Hell, they probably let him sit up front on a ride along. I don't know.
And I think they actually even had a couple monster trucks there and different things like that. So that's an exciting. So if you have nothing this weekend, it's usually free. They'll have some vendors out there selling drinks and things like that.
Where's it going to happen?
Green Hill Park.
Okay.
And we have it on our list as we run through tonight on events for the weekend.
Gotcha.
But it's plenty of parking out there. I think Saturday, about 50% chance of rain. Or at least when I looked 2 days ago, so that could have changed.
Right. Well, I've heard it's supposed to be wet here in Richmond.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday.
So are y'all dressing up for the Halloween thing? Do they allow
Probably
that?
Not. Yeah, I mean, they'll allow you to. I mean, within reason.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, you can dress up, but I figure this mug is ugly enough on its own.
I did the Mad Hatter for Disney.
Oh, did you?
And it was fun. And actually, when we ran into, so we went around taking pictures of the different characters and stuff. And so I got my picture taken with the Mad Hatter. And it was funny because he noticed me and it wasn't even our turn yet. And he's like, oh, look at you. And I was like, you're an imposter. He's like, no, I'm the older one of you. And he looked young enough to be my kid. But he had white hair. Where mine was red.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was quite fun.
Right.
And we got into it. This next part, we're seeing a lot of this, even in our area.
Yeah. Speaking of the community stepping up, this is a thing that around here, and apparently especially somewhere in Kentucky, had a volunteer fire department that lost its EMS certification because they had a lack of volunteers.
And we see a lot of it here, and I don't know what the answer is because my son is a volunteer firefighter for Roanoke County, and it's taxing on his time. I mean, he's expected to be there certain days and things like that, and it's volunteer.
Right.
And I'm like, it's volunteer. And so I would ask him to do things, or why can't you do it? And he's like, oh, no, I got to be at the station. And I'm like, it's volunteer.
Right.
I'm not going to make it today. But it's not that way. That if you say you're going to be there Tuesdays and Thursdays, they kind of expect you to be there Tuesdays and Thursdays. And
For 18 to 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's a big commitment for volunteers.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
So is there?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be committed to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So is there a way to now that we're just going to pay them a little stipend or pay them something maybe to their time to step up volunteers?
Right.
I just don't know what the answer is because it is a big time commitment, and those people that do it, every time I'm out somewhere, if I see them getting breakfast, lunch, or whatever, I'm buying it for them.
Right.
But I don't know what the answer is for the volunteer part of it because
and I'm not sure. Again, where I'm from,
don't you even have one of those?
I always hate to tell this because he meant it as a joke to a point, knowing who he is. He's like, y'all got volunteer fire departments out there, huh? Yeah, I'm a professional. I do it for a living.
Right.
So, I mean, by all means, I think we should probably have some, if you're having a hard time with volunteers, apparently the fire department's hiring.
Right. And I never understood this part either because when my son started with the volunteer fire department, he had thought about going over and doing the paid firefighter. Well, they go through like a little mini boot camp.
Yeah.
And they have, physical restrictions and you have to be able to do this and this and this. Why don't the volunteers have to?
Right.
And that's why, I mean, he was out of shape and overweight and he's like, yeah, I physically can't do. Well, why can you do it with the volunteer fire department? Because a lot of times, especially in rural counties and things like that, those are the first people on the scene.
Right.
If you're over in Back Creek, you're getting Back Creek Fire Department.
Right.
It is a volunteer fire department.
Right. Nice firehouse, though.
It is a wonderful firehouse. But why are they able to do that voluntarily?
Right.
And these people have to hit some kind of physical things and all this other. And they get paid.
Right. And I'd like to ask him, do you get paid if you go out on a call? Do you get insurance if you're injured on a call?
That I don't know. Yeah.
You
don't get paid on a call.
Because that would probably be, if we had our money right and I wanted to go volunteer, I'm okay if you don't pay me, even if I show up on a call.
Right.
I've got insurance, but if I'm in the hospital because I was helping you,
right,
I'm gonna need a hand, buddy.
Yeah. So maybe I'll reach out to him and ask him about that. And hey, what happens if you get injured? Because that's a big commitment. And like I said, the people that, I don't want to say it that way because I don't mean it that way, but people that can't physically people that physically can't become paid firefighters become volunteers because they want to help the people. They love that profession.
Right.
And they're taking all the risk and nothing for it, and I don't know.
And there's got to be something out there.
Yeah, I have zero desire to do any of that.
Right.
I go through, I buy the barbecue and I buy the chicken and, we help out that way and I buy them food when I see them out.
Yeah.
Even at the bar, if a group of them comes in, I'll be like, I got their tab.
Right.
And we take care of it because I appreciate what they do, but I don't understand and, the volunteer part to the paid part and where the difference is for that.
Right.
So, fair returns to Henry County at the Martinsville Speedway this weekend.
Yep.
So that should be a fun time.
They say they got like 30 attractions this year. And apparently one of them is one of the dog acts from America's Got Talent.
Cool.
I can't for the life of me remember the name of the dog group they were.
I always liked fairs at like speedways, or I remember as a kid we went to some fair in Shawsville, Virginia. And it was held at the old Shawsville High School.
Okay.
And I don't even know that they had a bunch of rides. It was like a lot of carnival games and maybe a Ferris wheel there, if I can remember. But that was probably like 8 or 9. So I was young.
So 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you that story in a minute. But I have a super vivid memory of is they had these 3 telephone poles that were about as tall as, their normal telephone poles in the ground.
Right.
And it was greased up. And at the top of the telephone pole, they had like $100 bill up there. And if you could make it to the top of the telephone pole, then you got the $100. I think you had to pay a buck or yeah, it was 70s, and so I think you had to pay like a buck or however many tickets to be able to get that try to go up. But there are people walking around the fair, no shirt on, and just you could tell who tried to climb that grease pole. But you would have them up, you'd have somebody up on their shoulder trying to get them the little oomph to get up to the top of the pole. Good Lord! So that's what I remember of that. I don't remember if there were rides. I remember people trying to climb a greasy telephone pole.
Well, that is the kind of thing that would stick out to you.
Yeah, I don't remember anything else. I just remember the telephone pole. But speaking of my age, had somebody at the bar the other night, they were guessing my age. And one person said 49, not too far.
Not too far.
And then somebody said 44.
I ain't buying you drinks. Quit trying to hit on
That's
me.
right. And so I'm telling Tegan this. Yesterday I dropped her off at farm school, and I'm like, hey, Tegan, somebody at the bar Monday night thought I was 44. And she laughed so hard. And I just kind of gave her the eye. And she goes, what? I would have thought you were 46. I was like, oh, you've learned to lie young.
Well played.
I would have thought you were 46. I was like, yeah, okay. But then in that same breath, she's telling me how she thinks that Big Daddy Munchies is a stupid name. And I was like, why? She goes, I would have called it Little Munchies. I was like, why? She's like, because when you die and I take over the candy business, I don't like the name Big Daddy's Munchies. I want it to be Little Munchies. I was like, gosh, you just told me I was 46, so I'm not dying anytime soon. And she's like, I know, but when I take it over, and good for her thinking this thing's going to go that long, but, she's already planning my death and what she's getting and what she's not.
Right.
So now when I do sleep, I got to sleep with one eye open.
I was going to say, I would go home, I love you. Pat her head. I love you to death. Baby, I'm locking the door. Don't take it personal.
We can put a padlock on the outside of her door. Be like, she's in for the night. We can sleep now.
Here's a potty training potty. There's your bathroom right now.
I don't understand. Sad news, 79-year-old found in their car at Clater Lake this weekend. Yeah, so that's sad. And,
I didn't see any name. I just saw 79-year-old.
And then Twin Creeks Distillery caught on fire.
And I don't know how many times I read that before I got to distillery. I kept calling it brewery.
Okay, because we do have a Twin Creeks Brewery also.
Yeah, I think that's
in downtown. Yeah, so it's downtown. Then the distilleries
across from Tuco, I believe.
Yep, and then
Twin Creeks Distillery, I believe, is the one on 220 over by Holly Joe's.
As you're headed into Boone's Mill, is it on the left?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, if you're going from Roanoke to Boone's Mill, it's on the left.
Okay, I know exactly where that's at. Oh, they got some other businesses above them, I think, or maybe that's the building next door. No, it's the building next door.
It is.
Because this is a one. It's a tall building, but it's a one story. Yeah. The distillery. I know exactly where that's at now. I was like, where is that?
I was like, where is that? Where is that back? No, that's Chaos Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's the one on 220.
And if you're looking to move to Roanoke and like distilleries and breweries and things like that, we really have a bunch of them here.
And if you like vineyards, yep.
We got those too.
Yeah, we can get you tore up at Chateau Morset, bring you right on down to Ann Rhymes, get you good to go.
I'm sure there's one, but I don't drink wine, so to me it's just to me it's just nasty. I was going to say maybe we come up with the ultimate, or maybe there's something out there with the ultimate tour of wineries.
Right.
Okay, start here and you end here.
Yeah.
I know with like the Crooked Road and all that other stuff, they have like a start and end point of what would be optimal. Maybe we look and see if there's something like that.
Okay.
Could be fun. And then, is it Jason Miyares?
Jason Miyares, the Attorney General for the Commonwealth of Virginia, came down and toured historic Gainsboro.
Gainsboro, okay. I put Greensboro for some reason. I was like, why are we talking about Greensboro?
No, down at Gainesboro. I didn't hear anything about that library, but he was talking. Apparently, there were two African American attorney generals, or worked in the attorney general's office from out here back during the civil rights time, and he apparently he laid some or gave credit to them, gave a little homage.
Okay.
And just kind of toured the area.
And they did the whole historical marker and everything last weekend.
Right, at the library.
Yeah. So and I've been to that. I've done a couple of homebuyers classes at that library.
Right.
And it's a cute little library.
Is it?
Yeah. It's an adorable. I mean,
I've driven by it 100 times, never been in.
And I may be wrong because I'm a guy. So it's probably only about 2,000 square foot.
Right.
Yeah. and maybe that, but it's a cute little library. But we did a couple home buyer seminars there for VHDA when we did that.
Right.
Channel 10 is doing a survey.
Okay.
And maybe we do that same survey here. They want you're voting on the best place to hike during the fall.
I like it.
So,
do we have any takers that want to take a GoPro up one of these hikes, or a 360 camera up one of these hikes?
Because if you do, we'll loan you our camera.
Yeah.
And then we may hit a couple of them ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because we need to. I've got that 10-foot selfie stick, so it can make it look like we're flying a drone.
That's right.
Because most of the hiking spots most of the hiking spots in this area, and if it's national forest, it's throughout the whole country. You can't fly your drones without special government permission to do so.
Right.
They don't like it. It messes with the animals, and I'm cool with that. And nobody. I mean, we noticed this at Disney now more so than we did a couple of years ago. They're doing the helicopter tours, and when we're at the resorts, all day long you hear the stupid helicopters going across. Right. So you're laying there relaxing, all of a sudden, vroom, vroom, and you're like, man. I can't imagine.
You're allowed to be within 6 feet of somebody now.
Yeah, I can't imagine going to Roaring Run and you're there to hear the water, there to hear the nature, and all of a sudden you hear me, me, me. You're just like, So
be slightly irritated.
As a drone, I'm okay with that.
Right.
And I think selfie, you can't get above the treetops, but I think a selfie stick still is a way to go with that.
Yeah. The last 2 weeks we have lost roughly $190 million in jets.
Yeah, we got the F-35.
Yep.
Now they say they found the crash site on that.
They have found a what did they call it? Debris field.
Okay.
That they think is the F-35.
I don't know that I believe it, but it is what it is. It's an $85 billion plane. The pilot ejected. And then supposedly the plane just continued to fly.
For 80 miles.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Depending on how fast it was going, I may or may not believe it.
The original thought was that and it still could have been, that the plane could have been hacked.
Right.
And somebody took over the plane and ejected the pilot and whatever. They haven't come out and interviewed the pilot about it, going, hey, why were you ejecting?
Right.
Did he do it, or did whoever took over the plane do it?
Well, and they keep talking about UFOs now, so maybe it was a UFO.
I mean, but if he didn't do it, how scary is that to be flying a plane and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I didn't push that button. I'm all
425 mile an hour, and all of a sudden, where'd my plane go?
I'd have to have radio down, be like, you're gonna have to bring some wipes or something. Because it just ejected me.
I hope there's a lake near here.
I can't imagine. I mean, it's not funny, but it is.
It is.
Especially if he didn't push the eject button.
The last I heard, he is alive. They found him safe.
But you think
so? Knowing that, it's hilarious to me.
Can you imagine just flying? I was thinking, like, I've been in a couple car wrecks, and it's bad enough when somebody rear engine, you're like, oh God, what was that? Can you imagine being tossed from a plane?
Yeah, and I heard it somewhere today, and I'll try to find the video and I'll send it to you for next week. Apparently, one of the local news channels found somebody, and he was just talking about, apparently he was shaving and everything, but his sound effects of what he heard and what he thought, oh my God, it's hilarious.
Oh, wow, we need to, yeah. We'll
I will try to find the shaving guy interview.
Yeah. I don't know where they find these people.
Yeah.
I watched a video the other day, and it was the Hodge twins? I was watching the Hodge twins.
Okay.
And they were talking, and evidently somebody was robbing a convenience store. They had a gun pointed to the clerk.
Right.
Clerk pulled out their own gun, shot, killed the dude.
Okay.
The news interviews dude's sister.
Right.
Dude's sister, I know he had a gun pointed to them, but he didn't have to do my brother like that. Yeah.
Your brother was a...
Yeah. And so I'm like, what? And the Hodge twins are tearing up. But yeah, he didn't have to do that. I know that that's against company policy for really? I'm just like, wow. Yeah. Nobody takes accountability for anything anymore.
Yeah.
And
not even for the family.
Yeah, I just like when I used to mentor in downtown Roanoke.
Right.
My little guy I mentored, we had just had a conversation that you can't steal a moped, or that if the cops try to pull you over and you're on a moped, pull over. And because we had noticed a cop, it was like 3 cop cars surrounding this moped. Okay. And so he's like, oh, I'm outrunning them. You can't outrun their radios. You might be able to get away from the cops, but you can't outrun the radios.
Right.
Okay. So 3 weeks later, I go to pick him up for our little 4-hour thing that week. I'll be danged if he didn't try to outrun the cops on a moped.
We just talked about this.
Yeah. But his mom, it was the cops' fault. They were chasing my boy. They got my boy in jail. Your boy was trying to outrun the cops. Right. And when I talked to him, I was like, what's going on? We talked about that. He's like, well, if I got pulled over and it was stolen, then I would have been in trouble. I'm like, well, now when you get pulled over, you're getting it.
Right.
You're in trouble for running from the cops. You're in trouble for the stolen moped if it was stolen.
Right.
You've got all kinds of other charges. Pull over and take that charge.
Right.
But the mom, it was not his fault. The cops.
I need a new kid to mentor. I need one that'll listen.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no accountability through anything anymore,
right.
which sucks. But Roanoke should have some accountability for this next one.
Yes.
CNN has announced, or whatever they do, but CNN said that Roanoke is ranks number 2 in the top 25 hiking cities in the U.S. That's gigantic.
That is huge.
And it kind of reiterates our whole thing. If you like the outdoors, Roanoke's for you.
We are number 2 in the country for outdoor
for hiking. Yeah.
And we have almost as many bike paths as we do hiking paths.
Yeah, and then we have the greenways. If you're not
good enough that the Olympic team wants to come out here.
And then if you're not into hiking in the mountains and stuff, we have the greenway that runs forever and a day.
Right.
Most of that's flat and nice, so we have the greenway.
Well, some of it's even paved.
Yeah, and honestly, if you look at this last summer, because we're full out of the COVID restrictions and all the other stuff. If you look at this last summer, most of our events or concerts and things like that, all outdoors.
All outdoors, yeah. Yep. I don't know if I've heard of one at the Berglund Center lately.
Yeah, there aren't many. And
they're
most
all going to Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and so most of our headliners and most of our concerts are outdoors. Right. Even like the little breweries and things like that, their people play typically outdoors. And so
Black Dog Salvage.
Yep, they're having some concert. I forgot to put it in the group, but they're having something this weekend too. And their Black Dog Salvage amphitheater or whatever it's called, which is pretty exciting. Number 2, hiking. That's great.
I like it. Lynchburg's in the news a lot this week.
Yeah.
Their school board voted to close 2 elementary schools amongst financial concerns. I guess T.C. Miller and Sandusky.
Mm-hmm. Sandusky Elementary. And I think as our economy takes that turn.
Because they got to pay $5.3 million to somebody they ran over.
That's right. Like, well, now my kids can't go to that school. So the parents up there are upset and kind of wondering what they're going to do, because a lot of time, and Lynchburg's growing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like Roanoke. Lynchburg's growing, and they're falling out the seams in a lot of their schools and things. So the parents are pretty upset and kind of left in limbo of what's going to happen and things like that. But they did vote to close these 2 schools.
And I mean, we've got somebody here in this building, he's not here right now, that maybe we talk to him and see what he thinks Roanoke would have done. I'm just of the ilk of the thinking that if you've got to shut down a school or 2, I don't know that elementary is where you cut.
Right. But I think in Lynchburg you only have 1, maybe 2 high schools there.
Right.
So it's not like, it'd be kind of like Roanoke City where you have PH and Fleming.
Right.
You can't shut down. I don't think you should shut down schools at all. You look at other spending.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You look at the other spending.
And I apologize for not coming there first.
Right.
You know, I just thought we had a school board member, you know, or we know one. I don't know that we have one, but you know, we know one pretty well.
A guy.
Yeah, and great guy. And I just, again, when you start talking about cutting schools, I think elementary.
And that's what this whole lottery thing was supposed to be.
Exactly.
That lottery, and I would love.
Not that I'm against the lottery in any way, but we were told that all that was. Every penny of profit from that was supposed to go to schools.
I think that in America right now, there needs to be some type of accountability for spending.
Right.
You know, if I give you $100 million to do this for the school,
right,
I want to see every penny that you spent.
Right.
You know, because I don't want to see 10% of that going to the project and the other 90% going to salaries for the project, you know, for the board or for the whoever. I also think there should be no ties between the board and the people doing the work.
Right.
Because a lot of times when you got that buddy is going to, I know that they're going to spend $100 million.
Right.
And so they're going to spend $100 million instead of something they could have probably done for $50 million.
Right.
So when you know the budget, you're not coming in low.
Right.
You know.
Do it like everything else. You got to take 3 bids.
I mean, I know that when we do our taxes, we have to put what we're self-employed as real estate agents.
Right.
And we have to put that profit and loss in there.
Right.
And then the IRS, if they decide they want to audit us, they come to our house and we have to show them all our receipts, or we meet them at the office or wherever.
Right.
But we have to show them all the receipts and all that stuff.
Dude, Mary's still watching. Do not bring up receipts.
I know. My wife's not.
It's a touchy subject around tax time.
See, my receipts are always balled up in my pocket, and then they end up rubbing, and then you look at it, you're like, I don't even know if it's a Walmart receipt anymore. So I'm probably with you, and I think that's a real estate agent thing. But I think that, but as the government, I should be able to see every penny that they spend.
Right. Yeah.
He knows.
I'm aware.
Sorry, JR. I didn't mean that one.
Luckily, most of the money I spend on real estate now is online, so I have a Google receipt, or an email receipt to show her, until I go and clean out my email. See, that's why you've got 720,000 emails in your inbox.
Yeah.
I get to like 4,000. I go, I can't do that.
See, I know where to. At the top, you have that search. I'm like, okay, yeah. Now I'm looking for child. Now I get to see receipt. Now I'm looking for this. But no, my pocket receipts are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been better with the candy thing.
Right.
So I've been taking them receipts out. I don't even. I might have a couple in my pocket now because I went out to buy candy earlier.
Right.
I mean, I bet we spent $3,000 on candy. I showed you my
Wow.
trunk last week.
Yeah. Hell, you won't miss one of these.
Right. So we're gonna do a contest with one of those.
Okay.
I'm gonna fill one of them up with the freeze dried Skittles.
Okay.
And we're going to do some kind of contest giveaway with the freeze-dried Skittles.
Okay.
In other markets, I haven't marketed selling those because I don't have the inventory to be able to do so right now.
Right.
But in other markets, they're selling, it holds about a pound of Skittles.
Oh, wow.
And they're
okay.
selling them for like $40.
Oh, wow.
And people are buying them. And so we'll do a giveaway of that too. I didn't bring anything crunchy this week that people couldn't guess, so
Right.
we'll roll over our.
Well, and I mean, you got to work on inventory for the flea market.
Right,
You
and
know.
everybody's we've already brought in what we have. So,
You know,
but I got
yeah.
some new things coming up.
Oh, I like it.
I just have to work it out.
Right.
And Mary said January's ugly at your house.
Yeah.
Why January? Isn't that a little early?
No.
It's like
No, not for an accountant. no.
April 12th. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got to get these receipts together.
No, Mary usually about January 12th is like, you got your 1099 yet? I got paperwork to do.
My wife does too, but I do my own taxes. So she's
Right.
like, you do your tax yet? You, do
She-
your ta-
she-
you got to do it by tomorrow.
She rightfully does not trust me to do our taxes, and I say rightfully so. We got married, and I was just always the guy. Probably for the first 4 or 5 years I was employed, so like 2 or 3 of those years were in high school.
Mhm.
And I just got this mindset of, look, y'all are taking the taxes out. I tell you how many people are at the house.
Right.
I didn't file taxes. You know, after a while, I just got tired. What do you mean I'm guessing at this? No, I tell you what, y'all are taking it out. I'm not asking you for a refund. Don't ask me for extra.
Right.
You know, was my concept. And that turned into owing a couple thousand. We had a very, very good accountant.
Yeah, I've been there.
Marry somebody that wasn't a big fan of the tax code. So she finally got me straight, though.
That's good.
She's good people.
I'm still
Good
dodging. So. I'm like the duck king of the world.
He'll have a new mailing address in a couple
That's
months.
right. That's right. Just somebody be my pen pal. And if you get a collect call, please answer. I'm lonely. But I wonder if I could figure out how to make those freeze-dried candies out of the toilet. I know they make the toilet hooch there.
Yeah.
Maybe I can make freeze-dried candy out of the toilet.
Gotta love it.
The Roanoke Taubman Museum, since COVID, they've shut their hours.
Right.
You know, so the public just can't come in and as
Right.
much as they used to
Right.
pre-COVID. But they are also doing more tours and more events.
Yeah.
So they're actually seeing an increase in people coming through there, but it's more tours and the events that they do
Right.
than just being open as a museum and people walking through.
And I mean, maybe that's better, you know.
Whatever works for them. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you set those hours and people come during those. I mean, it's, you know, if you can't, then I'm sorry.
Right. There's
But-
always tomorrow.
Yeah, but they are holding a bunch, you know, other events, and I see this with like the Virginia Transportation Museum.
Right.
The Virginia Transportation Museum. I see that with them lately. They're
Right.
doing some kind of dog. What was it the Pupapalooza?
Right.
Pupapalooza 23 this weekend at the
At the
Transportation
Transportation
Museum. Yeah. So I think that, you know, that probably is going to continue through the future, and you may see it even more so.
Yeah. And, you know, anymore, you know, just schedule.
Yeah.
You know,
If you want to see it bad enough, you'll make time.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You'll schedule the time.
And speaking of our centers, you got the Taubman Museum, the Jefferson Center. Cyrus Pace is the one that runs the events and things at Jefferson Center. He was actually in the band with my brother
Okay.
at Salem, but he's come out and said they need about $6 million to do some renovations and different things there at the Jefferson Center.
Right. And, that's where my granddaughters always do their ballet
Mhm.
recitals.
Mine did too when they danced.
So I mean, I don't, I'm not against doing upgrades, da 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 da. I just, you tell me if I'm looking at it the wrong way. But if they're asking Roanoke for $6 million to do some upgrades, maybe it could be the Roanoke Civic Center again.
Right.
I know.
Well, this is a Jefferson.
I
Yeah,
know
okay.
Jefferson Center is a little off, but it's in
Right.
the same thing. I thought y'all didn't want to give it back to Roanoke because y'all would put so much money in it. Well, if you need some money.
Well, no, we're talking different. So the Berglund Center
Right, is run by Berglund.
is run by Berglund. The Jefferson Center is the old high school, Jefferson High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's old Jefferson High School, and that's where, and I don't know where ours used to do it at Jefferson Center, old Jefferson High School on Campbell.
Oh, okay.
And so it's on Campbell, and it's an old high school, and they've turned it into like a
Okay.
performing arts thing.
Right.
And so they'll have ballet there. Our girls did their little dance recitals there, and then they also have different bands, and not like downtown bands and things. They'll have like jazz, and the orchestra I think sometimes plays there.
Right.
So
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the same place. I mean, I've gone to see Weird Al there 2 or 3 times.
probably not. I don't know
Okay.
that Weird Al's played at the Jefferson Center.
Okay.
But we'll have to look that up.
We'll have
But-
to look it up.
So the Jefferson Center, they haven't done any kind of major upgrades since the 80s.
Okay.
So it's about time. Mary said she's pretty sure the city took back the Berglund Center. That's a good possibility
Okay.
that they did. We'll have to look into that and maybe follow up again next
Yeah.
week on that.
Well, no, everybody still calls it the Berglund Center, so.
Yeah, to me, it's always the Roanoke Civic Center.
Right.
That's where it'll always be, because growing up, that's what it was called.
Right.
But yeah, the Jefferson Center is down on Campbell Avenue, and they have some good events, but and asking for $6 million, and I think they're also doing a fundraiser with that. So they're not asking, hey, city, give us this. I
Right.
think they're wanting to do a fundraiser and stuff like that. And that's what they did in the 80s. The city contributed, but a lot of that came from donations and stuff too.
Gotcha.
But I know Cyrus has really brought in a bunch of events and different things to the Jefferson Center, to where previous you didn't hear much about the Jefferson Center,
Okay.
and now it's
Okay.
downtown near the Y and near the YMCA area.
Yeah,
down
the
off of
Jefferson Center I'm talking about is, remember, I hate to bring the name up, so I will just say.
Oh yes.
Bold.
Nope. Yep. That's not the Jefferson Center.
Okay.
That's the Berglund Center's Performing Arts.
Okay, but I thought
Yeah.
it was Jefferson Center for the Arts.
No. No.
Okay,
It's,
okay.
Yep.
Then I was completely wrong.
This one's
I will shut my mouth.
This one's probably 4 or 5 blocks up from the police station on Campbell.
Okay.
So as you're headed back
Unfortunately,
towards,
I know where that's at.
yeah. So yeah, that's where that's at, and so they're looking for $6 million to do some upgrades, and I think they need it.
Right.
This one kind of, I think I know why, but I'm not an accountant. Maybe Mary knows. She can chime in on this one,
Well, that she
may not be able to.
Well, she may not be able to on a couple different reasons,
Right.
but apparently recovering from the pandemic, Carilion has reported $57 million loss in its fiscal year that ended in September.
2022. My thoughts behind it,
Right.
and just my thoughts.
Right.
I'm not part of the medical community by any means, and
Right.
hell, I do my own taxes, and I Google what's the average mileage a real estate agent. So I'm going to jail.
I do not, IRS. I do not.
Right. Oh yeah, no, I don't. I was joking. But my thoughts is so many of these medical facilities got so much more money with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Once that COVID money stopped, they're going to report a loss
Right.
because they're used to those bigger monies that came through with COVID.
Right.
And my son used to work for a company, and they were going to have a whole medic program, and he was excited about it. And then all of a sudden, all that COVID money stopped,
Right.
we can't afford to
Right.
do the medic program any longer.
Right.
And so
Well,
I think that that's a big part of it.
Well, and while I think that's part of it, they're reporting a $57 million loss. Does it seem to slow them down in any of their construction?
None.
You know, and I'm not talking crap. God bless you. I hope we end up renaming it Carilion City.
Right.
You know, I'm all about having enough health care for everybody to go around. I'm not against you. I lost $57 million. We need a new hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm confused by it too, because they are putting on a big addition over there now, and they're forever building and buying stuff.
Yeah.
But I think 100% it boils down to, you know, and the loss too is you have to look at pre-COVID.
Right.
You know, where we stand here, because, you know, COVID, I mean, if I look at my income,
Right.
dang, during COVID, I didn't make jack.
Right.
Because we were mostly shut down.
Right.
But, and so I think that you have to compare those apples to
Almost had
apples.
to do virtual tours.
Yeah, apples to apples instead of apples to oranges. You know, is it really a 50? Because they haven't gone down on their prices.
No.
There's a nurse shortage, so they're not paying extra people.
Right.
So I don't know where the loss is coming from, or if they're counting all the construction they're doing
Right.
into that loss, which is probably
Which
right
is
too.
possible. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is possible.
So-
But yeah, I mean, seems to me I recall hearing something about you know, you got X pay
Mhm.
if somebody died with COVID
Mhm.
or of COVID or what have you, and there's just not as many people dying of COVID
Right.
or with COVID.
And I know that during the pandemic, if you died in a car accident, if you tested positive for COVID, then you died of COVID.
Right.
You really died. And I know that personally, because one of the servers at McAdoo's grandfather died in a car wreck. And they had to fight to get it changed to the car wreck instead of COVID,
Oh wow.
because they had put COVID on the
Because the
death
hospital
certificate.
wants the money, and you know it's
And-
one of those. If you put it, if the person paying put that loophole in,
Mhm. And Mary had asked, and this makes good sense too, how much of that loss is due to depreciation from all the building, and then or lost due to investments?
right?
Because I know that a lot of people have lost a lot of money in the stock market here
Yeah,
recently,
yeah.
so that could be it too. But yeah, I just think that, you know,
Our resident accountant bring some common sense to it.
maybe at tax time we bring her in and be like, hey,
Right.
here, talk to this lady.
What's your
Wine
I
and-
can't afford that.
Right, we'll bring in a bottle of wine and she just having fun with it.
Right.
No deer though, I
No.
promise. No deer for you, Mary.
No, it doesn't necessarily speak anything to mortgage rates, but the Fed has decided to stay the course and not change its prime interest rate.
Okay.
They just met today, I believe.
I think that's a right move.
Me too. I think they should probably do that for 2 or 3 quarters, and then if they need, you know, give the current rate a chance.
Right. I think they've increased so much, and
You know,
and we're seeing it everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, a month isn't enough to tell you
No,
where it's running.
not at all. Not at all. This is kind of, we talked about this last week with Goodwill buying that whole area.
Right.
They've announced what they're doing with it. They're putting in a grocery store, which I don't know how that's going to work. An adult high school,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But they already offered a GED program, and if you look at your local cities and stuff,
Right.
Roanoke County, Roanoke City, they all have an adult GED program.
Right.
So I don't know where this is different.
Oh,
And then they're also put a new wellness center out there.
Because when I think Goodwill, I think Wellness Center.
Yeah, I'm confused by it all, because, you know, I know they do a lot of training and things like that, and you know, you go to Goodwill store, but I mean, you go into Goodwill now and look at some of the prices of the stuff, and you're like, oh my God, $20 for, I can get a new on Amazon for $5.
Well, I can probably go next door to a Big Lots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so their prices I don't know where inflation's hitting them because all their stuff's donated.
Right.
But so prices, they've gone super high, and I just don't know at what point you become nonprofit to profit, whatever, and maybe these things are profit. I mean, the grocery part of it, are they going to stock it like a grocery store, or we donating food to it? Actually,
that would be the conversation that we bring Mary in on.
Right.
She knows all that stuff, and she would probably be more than happy to talk about that side of accounting. She loves what she does, but she'll be the first one to tell you, don't talk to me about taxes.
Right.
I know enough about it. I'll get you close.
Right.
but I'm not a tax accountant.
Yeah. I understand. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether they're going to, okay, we're taking food donations, or are they just stocking it up like a Kroger? Or is it going to be grocery, but like a food pantry?
Right.
To where you can go in low income and get help.
Just don't tell me you're battling the food bank, please.
Lux says it's sunny in California. It's a nice sunny day.
Well, good. It was a pretty sunny day today.
Felt like fall today.
It did.
Yeah, it felt like fall today, which is good. Tomorrow, there's no chance. I don't think it's raining. I think this weekend we got a couple
I think
showers
it's supposed
coming.
to come in like tomorrow night or Saturday.
Yeah. Job market, same thing. Everybody's hiring. You just have to pick what you like, what you don't like, and what you might want to try.
Right.
Well, you know what? I didn't like being a server. Let me go see if I like this air conditioning thing.
Right.
Right. Or you just start a candy business too.
Not freeze dried though.
Oh no.
Too much competition.
Yeah.
That market is flooded. Just leave that one alone.
So we got a ton of stuff going on again this weekend. Not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's hope that the weather stays dry enough for all of them.
Yep.
You got the Roanoke Comedy Fest.
It's the Spot on Kirk. I've never been there, so I don't even know what that is. But
I'm gonna guess Kirk Avenue.
Yeah, it's on Kirk. So you got the Showtimers presents Something Rotten.
Okay.
And I think I might be wrong and if I am, and Zach's watching this, I'm sorry, but I think our friend of mine, Zach, is in that play. Yeah.
Love that guy. But I love going in there, and Zach is working, and you just see the happy and the smile on his face. But I've only met him like twice, and he'll walk through, and he doesn't say anything. So you know how I am. I'm like, he doesn't remember me. I'm just going to shut up. I'm going to sit over here.
Yeah, great, super nice guy,
and
guy. So I've been trying to get him to move to Disney and do the stuff down there, but I don't think they pay very well for their performers. But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And we want to keep him acting because he loves it.
Yeah, and he loves to talk about it, and I always send him little memes and little stuff I see about. But yeah, so I think he is in that one. If he's not, I apologize. Maybe it'll probably be over next week.
We'll let you know next week.
Yeah, that's right. If it is. One of my, I used to love haunted houses and things. Terra Manor's opening up this weekend.
Okay.
At Terra Manor, and it's downtown Roanoke, I think. So they open this weekend, and should be fun. I think a lot of those have gone way too gory for me.
Right.
It's more of a. It's not to scare as much anymore as it's
to gross out.
Yeah, it's the gross out type. So I don't know.
Yeah, got the Jared Stout Band with the Carly Ray Band at Dr. Pepper Park this weekend.
Okay, nice. And then the historic Fincastle Festival this weekend in the town of Fincastle.
Do not blink.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, don't blink twice.
Yeah, and if you blink too hard, you'll end up down near Eagle Rock and Roaring Lion. So it's not raining. Go hike.
Right.
Yeah, go hike.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little longer than you would think for 0 stoplights.
Right. And then you have the Henry County Festival. We didn't put that in this, but we talked about it earlier at the Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah. And, I've never been to a festival there, but I love races at Martinsville.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I haven't been in ages. But
Absolutely.
But it's a nice little site.
Okay.
Got Not Your Average Roots and Reggae Festival down in Wasena Park.
That should be a good time.
Oh, I bet that's
Yeah.
going to be a blast.
I wonder where they're.
Probably over by. I had it in my head until I said down at. Is it the Thirsty Goat?
Oh, the Green Goat.
Green Goat.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably down there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they hold events like that. It used to be like the whole park, and I remember as a kid that park wasn't the same. And actually, where I think where the Green Goat was the old Transportation Museum,
Oh, okay.
and they had it under the bridge right there at Wasena. And so I
Okay.
think that was there. So I'm not sure where they play those, but Smith Mountain Lake. We talked about wine earlier. Well,
Right.
Smith Mountain Lake.
At their wine festival. And Mary and I made it out there one year. I mean, it was years ago, but that's actually a really, really good wine festival.
Okay.
I smoked my favorite cigars out at that festival.
Nice. So what I'm hearing, Mary, is JR's taking the babies to King's Dominion, and you're headed out to Smith Mountain Lake this weekend
It sounds
for the
sounds like-
wine festival.
Sounds like there might be a chance.
And on your way back, you can swing by and just grab her.
Right. Right.
Are you taking 460, 360 to Richmond? Or?
460. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then you'll be swinging right by the lake.
Exactly. I got you, baby.
So, Mary, you're headed
I got you
to
covered.
the wine festival. Mingle in the market this weekend with 5 Shades of Grey.
Yep.
At first, I thought that was 50 Shades of Grey. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
No, actually, we know the lead singer for 5 Shades of Grey. Decent guy. You probably remember him. Paul bought a house.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We thought we were going to list his place out in Benton.
Yeah.
And then he decided to rent it out or
Mhm.
something. Pretty decent guy in general.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
But we already talked about Puppapalooza and Touch a Truck at Green Hill.
Right. And then Yellow Wolf at Dr. Pepper Park.
Yep.
So you were headed to King's Dominion for the weekend.
We are.
I'm working. We're doing the farmers market Saturday
Good
from
deal.
9 to 2, and then Sunday I'm probably recuperating and starting again for the farmers market the next weekend.
Right. No home inspections this week. I got
Lux is
plenty.
driving across. He said Wine Festival at Smith Mountain Lake. I'm there.
Oh, nice.
Hey Mary, when you're there, just look for him.
Yeah, he looks like that skyline.
That's right.
Uh,
I think that's all I have today.
yeah.
You got anything?
Just if I may, one thing. I ran into a guy I used to work with yesterday. He says he catches our podcast, not always live, and
Right.
and apparently rarely has time to watch the whole thing.
Right.
So just a
Shout
quick
out to
shout
him.
out to Denver Miracle out there at White's Electric.
And then if you're looking to move here, want to talk about Roanoke, reach out to us.
We'd love to talk
And
to you.
you know,
about-
even if you're not moving here and want to talk about Roanoke,
we'd love to talk.
yeah,
to
reach
you.
out to us. Let's talk about
I
it.
don't know if you've noticed, we like to talk.
And then he says he's going to be watching his Cowboys. I know they look like a good team, but not getting my hopes up still. I've been burned too many times.
My Patriot rejects West. I don't even know who we're playing this week.
Yeah, so it should be fun football this weekend. Tech lost over the weekend.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. It's-
I kind of assumed, but
yeah, I think UVA lost too. Maybe I'm wrong
I
on
don't
that
know.
one.
I don't know. Because one of the IT guys at Friendship is a UVA
Okay.
fan, and they really had to.
Sedate 'em.
Hilariously, Virginia Tech or UVA is his team,
Mhm.
and they played the University of Tennessee in week 1. Well, his wife and Mary are Tennessee fans.
Okay.
So that poor boy didn't get any rest for a week over that game. Tennessee just stomped them, and I think he heard about it for a week. So I'm pretty sure they came back and got the win last week.
Right. Look, says we can get used to Tech losing. I am.
Yeah,
I'm
a Notre Dame guy. I root for it.
I'm a Tech fan, and yeah, I know they're gonna lose. That's the reason why they call them the Chokies.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of glad I'm going to be in Doswell because our broker is an Ohio State fan.
Okay.
I guess he's from Ohio. And yep, Notre Dame plays Ohio State on Saturday.
Okay.
Should be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I'd reach out to them.
If Notre Dame loses, I won't be here next week. I'm going to wait till the following weekend.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'll call you.
You know,
from
you
the
just
house.
come in the back door, shut the door, and
Right.
you know. Did you notice they fixed your window?
No.
Yeah,
No,
noticed
I
it.
didn't.
So
I didn't.
we'll talk about that after. Two old guys at the water
Right, at the
fountain.
water
We're going to talk
fountain.
about
Yeah,
that.
gotcha.
But if you have nothing else, I have nothing
I'm good.
else. Have a super great week.
Make good choices.
Be safe, and we are out.